You know the feeling, right? That huge project is just sitting there, the deadline is getting closer and closer, but somehow reorganizing your sock drawer feels way more important. For so long, we've been told this is just a personal failing, a lack of willpower. But what if that's just completely wrong? Let's get into the surprising truth about why we really put things off. So, I want you to think about this for a second. When you put something off, is your first reaction to think, I'm just so lazy, or I have no discipline? Yeah, that's what most of us do. But it turns out the latest science is pointing to something totally different. And here it is. This is the big idea that changes everything. Procrastination isn't some kind of character flaw. It's an emotional response. It's a full-on battle happening inside your own head. And the first step to winning is just understanding what that battlefield looks like. Okay, let's dive into our first big point. Putting things off is not, I repeat, not a sign of laziness. It's actually a pretty clever, though, let's be honest, not very helpful, coping strategy that your brain uses for a very, very specific reason. So here's the deal. Modern psychology tells us that we're not actually avoiding the work itself. We're trying to avoid the bad feelings that come with it. Think about it for a second. The anxiety of a really complex project, the absolute boredom of filling out a spreadsheet, or maybe that paralyzing fear that what you do won't be good enough. That's what we're running from.
So what is actually going on up there during this whole struggle? Well, it's pretty wild. It's basically a turf war between two totally different parts of your brain.
Okay, so on one side, you've got your limbic system. The best way to think of this is as the impulsive toddler in your brain. It's ancient, it's powerful, and it only cares about one thing: feeling good right now. Then on the other side, you have your prefrontal cortex. That's the rational adult, the planner, who's thinking about long-term goals. When you procrastinate, it means the toddler is throwing a tantrum, demanding relief from those bad feelings, and it's
And this leads us to this really key idea called temporal discounting. It sounds complicated, but it's super simple. Our brains are just hardwired to want rewards now, way more than rewards we might get later. That's why the quick, easy dopamine hit from scrolling on your phone feels so much better than the far-off satisfaction of finishing that big report. It's the instant gratification that the toddler part of your brain is screaming for.
Now, let's add one more piece to this whole puzzle: self-efficacy. All this really means is how much you believe in your own ability to get something done. And when your self-efficacy is low, a task can feel totally overwhelming or even impossible. And guess what that triggers? All those negative feelings that your inner toddler wants to escape from. And this is how we get stuck in this awful, vicious cycle. It starts with low self-efficacy. That leads to fear of failure, maybe some perfectionism. To dodge those feelings, what do? We procrastinate. But then comes the shame and self-criticism, which just crushes our self-efficacy even more. It's this downward spiral that makes the next task feel even harder to start.
Okay, so if we're dealing with this huge emotional battle, why is the most common advice just get motivated so completely useless? Well, it's because relying on motivation is like trying to build a house on quicksand. It's just not a stable foundation.
This quote from the world of habit science just absolutely nails it. If your whole plan is to wait until you feel like doing something, well, you're going to be waiting for a very, very long time, because motivation is fundamentally unreliable. And here's why it's such a bad tool for the job. First, your willpower is like a battery. It just runs down over the course of the day. Second, motivation is an emotion, right? And like any emotion, it comes and goes. But here's the most important part, the real mind blower. We've got it all backward. You don't need motivation to act. You need to act to create motivation. Action comes first.
So if we can't count on willpower and we can't wait around for motivation, what on earth are we supposed to do? The answer is to build a better system. We need to create a set of strategies that actually outsmart our emotional brain and make doing the right thing the easy thing.
All right, let's get into our first strategy. And honestly, this one is a total game changer. It's called the 2-minute rule. The idea couldn't be simpler. Shrink any new habit you want to start into something that takes less than 2 minutes to do. Just look at these examples. Go to the gym for an hour sounds hard, but do one push-up? Anyone can do that. Write a novel is terrifying, but write one sentence? That's not scary at all. See, the point isn't to get fit with one push-up. The point is to make starting so ridiculously easy that your inner toddler doesn't even have time to complain. You're completely bypassing that emotional battle. Because once you've started, momentum often just takes over. Our next strategy is all about working smarter, not harder. It's about working with your brain's natural laziness, not against it. Your surroundings have a massive impact on what you do. So the goal here is to design your environment to make good habits the path of least resistance. So instead of using up all your willpower to get up for a run, just lay out your workout clothes the night before. Make it easy. Instead of fighting the urge to scroll your phone at night, put a book on your pillow. You're just removing a little bit of friction from the habits you want to build and adding a little bit of friction to the ones you want to break. This isn't about discipline, it's just smart design. Okay, our third strategy is amazing because it completely removes decision-making from the process. It's called an if-then plan. You're simply going to chain your new, tiny 2-minute habit onto something you already do every single day without even thinking about it. The template is so simple. After I do my current habit, I will do my new habit in a specific location. For example, after I pour my morning cup of coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute at the kitchen table. Boom. The decision is already made. You don't have to think. When the trigger happens, you just do it. And research shows that this simple little plan can actually double or even triple your chances of sticking with a habit. So when you look at these strategies, the 2-minute rule, designing your environment, if-then plans, what do they all have in common? They shift you from feeling like a victim of your own urges to being the architect of your day. And this brings us to one final, really powerful idea. Let's talk about something called your locus of control. It's a fancy term from psychology that just asks, where do you believe control in your life comes from? Is it internal, meaning you're in the driver's seat? Or is it external, meaning you think things like luck or other people control your destiny? See, having an internal locus of control, that deep belief that your actions matter, is what builds that self-efficacy we talked about. An external locus, on the other hand, can make you feel helpless. So every single time you use one of these tiny strategies and succeed, you're not just getting a task done. You are casting a vote for an internal locus of control. You're proving to yourself again and again that you're the one in charge. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Stop treating procrastination like it's a moral failure that you have to beat with brute force. It's not. It's an emotional reaction. And you can learn to manage it with smart, simple systems that work with your brain, not against it. So let's make this real. The goal isn't to become a perfect, non-procrastinating robot overnight. It's just about taking one small step. So I'll leave you with this question. What is one tiny, almost laughably small 2-minute action you can take right now to move just 1 inch closer to where you want to go? Go do it.